Welcome back to Pick and Roll, everybody. I'm Sean. We have Logan Ward here today from Logan Ward Sports as a guest. No EJ today. Couldn't make it, unfortunately. But yeah, there's been a lot of off-season moves. Very excited to talk about those for sure. How you been enjoying this off-season, Logan?
I feel like every offseason in the NBA, we kind of like trickle into it, and then it's like 4 or 5 days in a row. Everything hits super quickly. It's like the drafts and all the free agent signings and trades, and then it like dies down again. So like we've already passed that 4 to 5 day window where everything is happening, but it's been interesting. Another great NBA offseason.
It's like the rush at a restaurant. We just passed the late night rush, and now we're
yeah.
Now we're just
it's like 9 p.m. at a restaurant, and everyone's starting to close down.
Yeah, they always start like, is anybody going to do anything? And then all of a sudden, Giannis gets traded. Then we got 50 more moves after that. But yeah, we still got LeBron on the move.
We knew Giannis was going to get traded. Obviously, like it just was like win, and then that was the biggest domino. That's domino one, then everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think the most intriguing team has been or is of the offseason right now? You know, you could say Giannis and Miami, or Jaylen Brown and Sixers, or Celtics without Jaylen Brown now.
I think my most intriguing is actually the Timberwolves. Because
big swing.
You feel like they've been so close and they just needed some extra moves. I'm not sure that trading for LaMelo is the right move, but they went out and they took a swing. Let's see how it plays out. But just everything they've done, sending Randall off, like they've been so close recently. And we can talk about this. I've said this all along. The NBA, like that second apron thing, has just been killing teams. And this is all like Minnesota was so close, and they're trying to find something out. So I think that the Timberwolves are actually probably the most interesting team, and they're still in on this LeBron sweepstakes, I guess.
They made the whiteboard.
They made the whiteboard. So. For me, I think it's Minnesota right now. Like that is a really interesting team and what that's going to look like next season is really intriguing to me.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a huge gamble, unexpected, one of the more surprising moves for sure, especially to see how those young guys, LaMelo and Ant, we'll see how they influence each other off the court and such.
Yeah, and I think LaMelo has gotten a bad rap. He played really well this year, and like he is kind of a point guard. Like he's okay with distributing the ball. So, I think that works. It's just the other pieces around him, I'm not sure what it's going to look like. And so and then just like on the court, like how are those two? Because those are big personalities. Like LaMelo and Ant, that's a big personality that you're going to have to do. But I do think Chris Finch can do it. I think he's like a top 5 coach in the league. So if anybody can probably handle it, it's them. Yeah,
for sure. They're the team of the last 5 years of making just random off-season moves, just swinging after, nope, that didn't work, we're going to try this. Like, I got to give it to them that, they have the balls. They have – they're not afraid to make a move. That changes things a lot. I have my suspicions about this move, but it is definitely interesting for sure. When I saw that they got rid of Naz Reid, they gave Naz Reid for LaMelo. I was, I'm a little unsure about that. Naz Reid is a hard player to find in the NBA like that. A great 6-man who can kind of fit in anywhere. He can play defense. He can shoot. He's got size and length. He's a really coveted role player, and so I just don't know if it was worth giving him up. Yes, they got a star and LaMelo, and but I don't know, man. Naz Reid's hard to come by.
But they already have a star. That's the thing that was like they already had it, and so I'm not sure. Like you said, it's like you kind of give away some of your guys there, and like I know that the Julius Randle was just kind of like a salary cap dump. Like they just needed to get him off the books. But That's a core that has been to Western Conference Finals. That's a core that is like really competing really well. But I think that team was kind of built for beating Denver, and they've done that. They've beat Denver multiple times in multiple years now. So like they've done that, and then as soon as that they kind of build that, now it's the Spurs, and now it's the Thunder that you got to try to build to beat. And I guess they're gonna try to just outscore folks. Like I guess that's the plan, is just to try to get 130 points a game.
Yeah. They're moving away from what has beaten Denver in the past. That now you get smaller, you get more guard heavy, and I just don't know if that's what they needed to do. You know, I mean, yeah, they had to get rid of Randall. It just wasn't working out. Julius Randle can't be a second option on a championship contender. But can LaMelo? We've never even seen him in the playoffs.
He's melted in the play-in games.
Yeah. I mean, he was all right in that play-in game. I was watching the one versus Miami. I actually liked him in that one. He made a few tough clutch buckets, but you know, it's a roller coaster with him. never know what shot he's going to take. I'm actually going to go with, in terms of most intriguing team, the Denver Nuggets, and that's because they haven't done anything, and they need to. You know, Watson is still like, what are we doing with him? He hasn't been re-signed, hasn't signed with another team. I think he's a restricted free agent, so they can match any offers he gets. But the Nuggets have been oddly quiet, and after a total flame out against Minnesota in the first round, when many people, you know, I was one of them, I thought the Nuggets could win it all last year. I thought they were a championship team, but that turned out to be incorrect. I mean, they were missing Gordon, their best defensive player.
Yeah.
Watson, I think, didn't play the entire series and all. So, but I still think that they need to do something. They need to make some kind of move. Cam Johnson didn't really pan out how they wanted. It was a downgrade from MPJ, and I just, what are the Nuggets doing? That's what I'm curious about. I expected them to do something that would turn some heads, and you know, maybe even, dare I say, get rid of Jamal Murray, trade him for somebody. I mean, they still can. Offseason's still young, but I got my eye on the Nuggets.
Yeah, they feel like they've kind of hit that wall that Milwaukee hit, like right after they won their championship. It's very similar stories. Like, you have your star player, but just like everyone around them seems to be kind of falling apart, or the moves aren't making sense. Yeah, I mean, they could still get LeBron, right?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
I don't know if that's moving the needle that much with them, but you know, the interesting thing about Jamal Murray is because they can trade him, but I'm not like what are you getting out of that? Because it's not going to be anything that you can, I don't think, win a championship now. Like, if you're trading Jamal Murray, that's going to be a picks. Like, you're going to get picks and a couple players to match salaries, but you're not getting back a all-star caliber player that I think is making you that much better.
Yeah, I think their only hope is probably LeBron at this point, in order to make like a big swing for a star, you know. But I think Jaylen Brown was really their best bet at a Jamal Murray trade, and that just didn't happen. And it doesn't seem like Boston wanted Jamal Murray. I don't know if that was the right fit for them either. And so they really just need to get a good 3-and-D player or two. They need defense, I think. If you put defense and shooters around the Joker, I think the Nuggets are in a good spot. So that's what I would try to do if I was Denver Nuggets GM.
Yeah, and you got to find, because you know they're looking at their contemporaries. They're looking at the Spurs and the Thunder. Like, what can we do to beat them? And I don't know if the Jamal Murray Jokic 2-game is going to do it. Like you said, Michael Porter Jr. was really big for him. And a lot of this, too, like Aaron Gordon wasn't healthy last year. Like, he was in and out of the lineup a lot. So, you know, fully healthy Aaron Gordon, if you go into a series, like if you went into a playoff series next year with Jamal Murray, healthy Aaron Gordon, and a Jokic, like, you feel good about that probably. Like, if your three guys are in the East, like outside of those two, the top two, I think like you feel pretty good that you could get to a Western Conference semis and then just try to have to beat one of them, those two teams there. So Yeah, like they're just in that no man's land right now. Like you said,
Hmm.
there's not. I don't know if there's many moves that they can make. They're just going to have to make some smaller signings and see if they can move the needle a little bit. But I don't know if there's any big thing that they can do.
Yeah. They're not doing well financially. And we've seen with the Boston Celtics, they just weren't going to have the two-man making $50 million each. And so they just did away with it. And now they're more of a team basketball organization, with only one star player. And so the Nuggets kind of have that kind of top-heavy duo in Jamal Murray and Jokic, and it's kind of formed into a routine of every year. It's just like, we have Jokic and Murray, we'll be fine come playoffs. But who else do you have in today's NBA? All five guys matter in the starting five, and I just didn't see enough people make those big time shots. Who are you going to swing to the corner late game? Who's going to make you a good, important three on that team? And they tried having a backup center for Jokic and Valanciunas. They just waived him and picked up Marvin Bagley, which kind of goes without saying. I don't think they need more size with Jokic, because he's doing so much on the offensive end. He can't be expected to take a big toll defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Jokic is as bad defensively as some people. Like he can turn on, and maybe his best is 75% of somebody else's best, but he can turn on up to that 75 every once in a while. Like I don't think he's as bad as everybody says he is sometimes on the defensive end. I like you said though, I just don't think he has the energy to try to do that when he is the offense. Like everything
Doesn't matter
rolls
how
through
hard
him.
he's trying.
Yeah. So, I am interested to see what the Nuggets are going to look like. I'm a believer that like you have your star guy, and you just got to try to get whatever fits with them. And like you said, 3-and-D guys, which the whole league's looking for 3-and-D guys. But you definitely have to have those types of shooters on the outside to do anything. And so, yeah, that's a good call. The Nuggets, they didn't do much, but that is intriguing.
Yeah, it's looking like it's just going to have to be a trade, like a little role player swap kind of trade. Because I don't know who else is left in free agency that can really move the needle. And now they have Miami also looking for 3-and-D guys, because they have nobody who can shoot the ball around Giannis and Bam.
Yeah, like what? Did they have like 3 players? Miami, they don't. They just traded away their entire roster.
It's just the starting five and everybody else.
Honestly, that's what it feels like.
Really, yeah. Real quick before we get into that whole Giannis ordeal, I want to talk about the Lakers. I am a Lakers fan myself, and we're looking at a different Lakers squad now post LeBron. Very Luka oriented, you could say. They picked up Quentin Grimes, Mamu Kelishvili, Colin Sexton, and they just re-signed Austin Reeves for 185 mil. I think 4 years, something like that. That's a pricey contract. Now the Lakers are limited financially. They're going all in on the Luka, Austin Reeves instead of Kyrie Irving, kind of like recreating 2024 Mavs team. And then they traded for Kessler as well and signed him to a 4-year, $130 million contract. And they had to give 2 unprotected first-round picks for him. Yeah. So, what do you think of it? What do you make of this roster? And
I watched a lot of Mavericks basketball games with Luka. I was thinking about this. Luka is one of the I think few players in the league. I think SGA is probably in that conversation that like even like if you can give him just a little bit of what he needs, like if he is healthy in the playoffs, nobody wants to see Luka in the playoffs. Like he can single-handedly win a playoff series. Obviously, if you give him some shooters on the outside, give him somebody to roll with. I think that it's the smart way is just to go all in on Luka, and you're going to have to build around him. I don't know, like Austin Reeves, though, is kind of a dribble the ball one-on-one kind of guy. Like, he's going to have that. And like you said, like, that's the Kyrie Irving model that they had in Dallas. But what's the minutes going to look like? Like, how many what is that going to look like? Is Austin Reeves going to play a lot of non-Luka minutes? Like, you're going to have to, because that's probably the only scoring you're getting out of that team. But, like, that's what I'm kind of interested in with the Lakers. Do I think they're going to win a championship? No. But you're kind of in a rebuild. I wouldn't have given Austin Reeves that much money, but, you also can't lose him. Like, it's like, we again, just talked about who else is coming. Who else is coming? Like, I don't know how you kind of get around that. So I'm all in on Luka. I'm a big Luka guy. I know that he doesn't play a ton. He gets hurt a lot. I understand all of that, but he's one of the guys in the league that when he is on the court, like, he is probably him and Jokic and SGA. Like, those are the biggest, just give me the ball and I can win us games in the league. And so if you can get hot for a playoff run and other people around you, you just got to have to get a lot of shooting on the outsides, and then just trying to get some bigs that can roll as well. That's the blueprint. I think they're going to look at what Dallas did and be like, this is exactly what we need to do. And I'm sure Luka's telling them that, by the way.
Yeah, this looks like Luka told their GM, Rob Pelinka, exactly what to do. Go get these guys specifically. You can tell with Kessler that was definitely the deal, because he was made to play with Luka. Just a lob.
I think they're going to regret not re-signing Rui Hachimura. I think that's going to be a big one. Because, I mean, I know that at the end of the season, like, that dude couldn't miss from three. Like, that playoff series against the Rockets, that dude just could not miss
He's
from
getting
three.
better for sure.
I think that they're going to regret that.
I worry there's not enough with the bench. The bench is looking very empty right now. I think Bronny is your backup point guard outside of Sexton. And, Sexton is solid. He can give you some minutes, like you were talking about with the non-Luka minutes. He can come in, with a spark plug off the bench. But that's more of a regular season, will get you through kind of thing to me.
Yeah.
I don't know about deep playoff run. Colin Sexton is going to be a game changer off the bench. They're betting on Austin Reeves hard that he's a 2 option with a guy like Luka for a championship team. And I think I heard that Detroit offered him a massive contract. They were ready to go all in, and so the Lakers put their foot down and just had to match what the Pistons were going to give, because there's no replacement for Austin Reeves that they could obtain. So I think this team is just solid. I mean, it's probably a little better than last year. But I don't know if this could beat the top of the top teams.
No, I mean, they're like, what, the 5 seed again? Like, that's probably your 4 or 5. Like, I don't know if they're going to get up, crack into that top 10, or that top 3. But again, you get in a playoff series and Luka's healthy and Luka's doing Luka things. Like, it gets scary for every other team. Like, every other team is like, crap. Like, I don't want to face that if he's healthy. And so you always have that fear. Like, that was the thing in Dallas. Like, you knew that it didn't matter. Like, the regular season, you're like, all right, even if we get the 6th seed, like, I feel pretty good about going up against the 3 seed and feeling like we're going to win that series because we have the best guy on the floor. And most nights, Luka's going to be the best player on the floor if he's healthy.
Mm-hmm. The thing is with Luka is that at any team that he's the star of, it has to all revolve around him. And I think the only way to be successful with him is to give him those high usage, high minutes. And it seems like he burns out at the end of the season and gets some kind of injury or is just too tired, like the 2024 finals. I mean, Kyrie didn't really show up how they wanted him to, and wasn't enough of a distraction from Luka. And the Celtics, that was just a great team and all. But, And like you can, like Jokic for example, Giannis, like they're pretty high usage guys, and they've proven that they can win and stuff. But I don't know, with Luka, it just seems like there's too much Luka. The teams rely on him too much, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that can win.
Yeah, I do think that JJ Redick might be able to get. I think that JJ Redick has done a fantastic job in LA. I was skeptical, but he's done a really good job. Like you can tell that the dude is just breathes basketball. Like and so I do think that he might be able to manage that a little bit so that you're not gassed by the end of the year. But I mean, let's be honest, Luka's. I mean, he's playing 65 games a year, if that. Like that's his ceiling. Like you're gonna miss he's probably gonna miss 20 something games in the regular season. And I feel like the Lakers know that, and that's why they had to sign Austin Reeves. Like they were like, we have to have somebody that can get us some type of bucket when he's not on the floors. So and when he's out. So it is, he obviously has to have the ball in his hands. Like that's where he's the most dangerous. He's never has and probably never will develop like off ball. Like he won't be that guy. But when he has the ball in his hands, like he does really magical things. And so,
No, I mean he can take you far alone, but I don't know about all the way.
No, but this isn't. I was listening to an interview with Austin Reeves on Dan Patrick the other day, and like he was talking about how he is now the oldest. He is 28 years old, and he is the oldest player on this roster right now. Like this is a young team.
Yeah.
He's 28 and Luka's 27. So like this is a really young team. I don't think that this is we're going to win this year. I don't even know if they're going to be like, this is what we're going to win next year. And I know that teams, but if by the time Luka's 30, that's 3 years from now, like what does that team look like when they're in their last year of their deals? Like it might look a little different because the problem is you're gonna have to re-sign guys. Like those guys, if they do pan out, they get expensive. But I don't think that the Lakers are like, we're gonna win a championship this year. I truly don't think that they're like in that, because they look at Oklahoma City, they look at now San Antonio, they still look at Denver. Like they're not. I don't think that they're really looking at we're winning a championship this year or maybe even next. Like I don't know.
They're definitely keeping that door open. They're definitely trying to convince people that they could maybe,
But that's the Luka effect.
Yeah, and just also just the LA sports teams, stay relevant for money stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know if this is a young team who has a bright future, unless Quentin Grimes becomes a staple of the franchise and Walker Kessler takes a leap, proves he can stay healthy, outside of those two guys, everyone else looks temporary. Everyone else looks like a temporary pickup to me. And
dude, I was all in on Dalton Connect. Like I thought that he was going to be one of those, and maybe not the D part of, but I thought he was a guy that was catch and shoot and like could make a difference, and that hasn't worked out.
Yeah. Ever since the Mark Williams failed trade, it seems like his relationship with the Lakers has just plummeted downhill.
I mean, wouldn't yours? Like you got to go back to this place that didn't want you, or just about to ship you off.
It's really awkward, and he demanded a trade. I'm pretty sure, but he's just not relevant enough to get what he wants. So yeah. But I like him. I'm still a Dalton Connect believer.
We'll see.
Him and Bronny. I'm a Bronny believer also.
Hey, if you put them two together, Connect with the three, Bronny with the defense, like it's just, you got to take two and you get like one 3-and-D guy.
Also, looks like Bronny's days might be numbered now that LeBron's gone from the Lakers. So that's fun. I don't know. I just think this team kind of has is going to run into the same flaws the 2024 Mavericks did. They're going to run into a team who has more weapons than them, more firepower, and then they're just going to shut everybody else down and then make Luka do everything until he tires out, like the Celtics did,
Yeah,
Unless
that
Austin Reeves it gets even better and has answers for that.
But would you? I don't know. I mean, this obviously was a couple years ago, but like Kyrie you would probably still take Kyrie over Austin Reeves at that moment. Like, just in terms of the player, he'd obviously been in those big moments before. Like, you're taking Kyrie and his skill and his ability over Austin Reeves. Like, I really like Austin Reeves. He's not, and he can definitely beat people off the dribble, but it ain't Kyrie level. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not what Kyrie can do.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's going to be the big thing is what does the non-Luka minutes look like when Austin Reeves is kind of running that offense. We saw it a couple times this year, but like not, he was banged up this year too. So
yeah, and don't think there's not pressure on Kessler either. That was 2 unprotected firsts and $130 million down the drain now. So he has to work out for them.
for sure, they're going. I mean, they're trying, which I guess is what you want as a Lakers fan. Like, you don't want them to be like, all right, LeBron's not here, and they traded for Luka, and that kind of gives you the hope that they're going to try and go for it. But it's I don't know. Like, they're not on the same level as the Spurs and Thunder.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think anybody is, to be honest. Right. I was initially happy with these moves, and then now it's kind of settled in. We're past the honeymoon phase, and I've just been thinking more and more like, oh, was this even like that much? Like, I don't know. And we're betting. I mean, these guys are just solid. Like, we're betting on unproven guys, really.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a young team. Like, they're gonna have to show up.
But it's exciting, though. I think they could be solid. They have a high upside for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get to the main event, main course here. Giannis finally traded to the Miami Heat. They sent Giannis and Portis from Milwaukee to Miami for a big package of Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., the Giacchiones rookie from last draft, the 13th pick, who ended up being Nate Ament, 2 first-round picks, 1 swap, and 1 second-rounder. Pretty big package. Pretty much exactly what all the Instagram posts going around were saying that Miami was going to have to give for him. So, yeah, what do you think about this trade?
Well, I mean,
is this the right move?
It was the right move for Milwaukee. Like, you had to do something. You knew that he wanted out, and like that amount of capital is what you need. I said at the time, like, there was that hinted Jaylen Brown trade that the rumor was that he was on the table for Giannis, but for a Milwaukee team, like, that didn't really make a ton of sense. Like, yes, he's younger, Jaylen Brown's younger, but you're still not close. Like, and so it didn't make sense. So I think that the fact that Milwaukee got what they got, I think, is a miracle, because I don't know how much of a market there was for Giannis. And this goes back to that second apron thing. Like, it's really hard to pay 2 stars and pay them a lot of money. And Giannis is making a lot of money. And so, like, any team that was interested in Giannis, like, you're going to have to give up a decent chunk of salary to try to match that. And so I think this is the best case scenario for Milwaukee. You get a bunch of players that, I mean, you'll still be competitive, like, ish. Like, you're not going to, I know that Bam was obviously like a big part of that Miami team. But like, you'll be competitive. Like, you're not going to, I don't think, like, win 20 games. Like, I think you're going to win a little bit more than that. You'll probably be fighting for a 10 seed like Miami's been doing the last 5 years. Like, I don't think that it's like a complete bottom out. But for Miami, I don't.
New anti-tanking rules.
Yeah, I know. But for Miami, I don't understand the move for Miami. It doesn't. I don't think it moves the needle that much. Like, I know that Giannis and Bam are going to be a heck of a defensive duo, but who's your play initiator? Like, who is your guy running the offense? Because it ain't Bam or Giannis. Like, that's not, you don't want that guy necessarily dribbling up and taking point of the offense. Like, you don't have any facilitators. So this is where the LeBron thing comes in. Like, because if that's the case, like, you need a facilitator. We said it kind of at the top, like, Miami doesn't have it's like they don't have a roster anymore. Like, they don't have anybody on their team. They just gave up it all for Giannis.
really
So
the
I
bench.
I understand it for Milwaukee. Don't love it for Miami. I don't think you're any closer now than you are, to beating the Knicks, beating the Celtics. I still don't think you might. You're probably not going to beat the Celtics. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it for Miami.
Any team with Giannis is probably a little bit better than they were without Giannis, but they're definitely not good enough to say they're a finals candidate to even come out of the East or win the championship. And their bench is really depleted. The starting five is kind of solid. There's just not really enough shooting and playmaking. Davion Mitchell isn't necessarily a proven playmaker.
Right.
He's got good hands. He's a great defender. He can be a good spark plug at times. He's shown very good potential. I like Davion Mitchell, but I don't know about starting point guard on a championship team yet. And then Andrew Wiggins is solid. He arguably could have won Finals MVP if Curry didn't go nuclear in 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, really just lacking a playmaker. Giannis is not like Jokic, one of those bigs who can kind of play point. I think the Heat are probably, they had no choice but to make a move like this. But I think honestly, like as depleted as they are after this, I think they're probably the best option in terms of like the least destroyed roster after a Giannis trade.
Are we sure that Miami had to do this? Like, why did they have to do this? Like, you had to get Giannis, I understand, but like you're still not close. Like what? And then you gave up everything that you have, which I know that like picks later, like this picks don't start to like what 2031. Like I know that's, but this Giannis ain't gonna be there in 2031. Like you're probably gonna be pretty bad by then, and like you're gonna ship your picks off to Milwaukee when you're not very good.
What else are you gonna do? You can't tank anymore. Not that Pat Riley would have, but
no, I know that you can't tank, and I know that like it's really hard to find a star. Like all these teams are like the NBA draft's happening, right? Like all these teams are just trying to find the star. That's why thinking tanking is the thing. But like, I don't know if you had to do this. Like, I don't know. I mean, everyone said like Miami had to do it, and I was like, why necessarily? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to be fighting for a play-in spot every year. Like, I understand that that's kind of like basketball purgatory, but is being the fourth seed any better and not getting to the finals? Is that how much better is that?
Actually, being in purgatory seems like the best spot to be in now because you're like with the new anti-tanking rules. I'm pretty sure once you're in like that kind of 7 to 10 range, like in play-in level, you have the highest odds like for the play-in teams.
Yeah.
So maybe they should have just stayed put with that mediocre roster of just Bam as your franchise player.
Yeah.
But I don't feel terribly bad about like let's try these 2 years to build around Giannis and Bam and and try to win something. Then taking a swing for like a player that's worse than Giannis, like DeMar DeRozan. That was our big move. I don't know. Like that was definitely the best guy to grab for like 100%.
Yeah, I don't know what their picks situation looked like. It really, to me, it's like you gave up all the talent, which I know is like Tyler Hero. Like you can get rid of him. Like there's not. I don't think there's going to be a star that was on that Miami Heat's roster that they just traded. But like trading away 2 first-round picks later after this experiment is over, that's kind of where that shocked me. Like it would be one thing if they gave them a 2027 or a 2028 first-round pick. Like but again, Milwaukee probably wouldn't have gone for that because they're like, well, you're probably going to be better like now that you have Giannis. So I don't know. Like I don't know if they had to do it, but are they better today than they were, 60 days ago? Yes. Like obviously when you have Giannis, you're a better team, but are you getting anywhere in the East? Like if you had to say, do you think that Miami is more likely to never make a conference finals or make the finals?
It's Heat culture, and now you have Giannis as your Jimmy Butler. You can say, and the last few years, really the luckiest team who's remained healthy has made it out of the East, and they could end up being that lucky team. And I like Giannis as my franchise player, trying to storm through the East, taking advantage of injured teams that you may run into. But on the other hand, Giannis has been injured the last 4 playoffs, so it's really a big gamble. I don't know if you can really trust him at this point. Not that he won't perform, but it's just, will he even play?
Yeah, the post 30-year-old big that gets traded. Like, I know the track record in the NBA is not very good. And I know that he's like a super freak athlete and he's a different breed of human, but the track record's not very good in NBA history for trading for a 30-plus forward big man, So I don't know. Like, it was interesting. They'll be more competitive in the regular season. I just don't know if over a 7-game series, like, what does that look like when you don't have anybody that can, like, run an offense?
And he's definitely going to have to take a big, like, usage toll, big minutes, because they, like we just talked about, they don't have really anybody outside of the starting 5 who's a relevant player in the NBA. And so him and Bam are going to be the real engine keeping this team alive. So it's very top heavy. It's very top heavy right now.
Maybe they should go get Dalton Connect.
Maybe, yeah, might as well. 3-and-D guy. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
But from Milwaukee's point of view, I think it's kind of interesting because they can't draft and they just got a bunch of picks. And now they have a bunch of solid young guys, but I don't think they're going to turn into it. I don't think you got a future SGA in them at all. Or so it's kind of weird. It's a really weird Bucks team after all this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think that they're going to go completely in the tank. Like, they'll still win some games, but I mean, this was coming. Like we knew this for 2 years, kind of, that this was down the line. Now I feel like in the last 6 months, when we kind of started hearing, I guess, the trade value, like, that's another, like, huge, I think a huge thing this offseason is, like, trade value in the NBA right now is not very good. Like I don't know, these stars are going for 50 cents on the dollar. Like, it's kind of a weird thing right now. And so I feel like they knew that. And so what can you get is just get a bunch of guys that maybe want to play hard. And, like, that's the fun part of the team, is, like, they're just going to go out there and try to prove something every night. Yeah. And they're going to play really hard and be, somewhat entertaining. But, yeah, they'll go back to being one of the bottom teams in the East now.
Yeah. They basically just chose younger, let's, like, develop for the future over win now with Jaylen Brown, which, they could have ended up in purgatory with that, I think, unless they flipped Jaylen Brown, because unless they somehow got the right players around him, but they couldn't really do that with Giannis. So I think they just took the safer bet, which was get these young players, get these picks, and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, this is going to be a rebuild for multiple years now. Like, that's what this is.
One of the weirder superstar trades, I think, in recent memory, for sure. Just because, like, this guy is so valuable, but whoever gets him is going to have to give so much. And then it was just weird. I think both teams lost. Like, and both teams.
Yeah, it does feel weird like that.
Which is weird because, like, a superstar getting, like, Giannis getting traded, like, usually results in a championship team, but, like, this was the first, like, lose one of those. Another loss, I guess, now that it's on hold, is the Kawhi Leonard trade. And that's also a weird trade, especially for the Clippers. They sent Kawhi to the Raptors for Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, 2 first, 2 second rounders, and 1 first-round pick swap, more than Jaylen Brown was traded for. And now it's on hold. I saw you made a video about that. How the Raptors are like, actually, we're not going to sign off on this until we know. But what's also weird is that that Kawhi came from them. So if anybody was like also going to be involved in the whole thing, it was them. So now they're like, we're not involved. We don't want to get involved. So it's just really weird.
Yeah, like you said, I made a video about this. I do think that there's some type of suspension coming for Kawhi. I don't think the league steps in if there's not something there that they're gonna have some type of discipline for. So we'll see if this goes through. I'm skeptical that it does, and honestly, I'm skeptical of what all this looks like with Kawhi anyway. Because if the deal doesn't go through and he's suspended, he's going to just go back to the Clippers, and I know the Clippers are going to get dinged too. If there is discipline, there's also discipline coming for the Clippers. This is a weird situation, and I do think it's funny that the Clippers try to just dump him. I'm sure that I feel like Kawhi probably just wanted to be gone. I'm sure that he really loved his time in Toronto, that 1 year, one championship. You want to just be done with this. I'm sure that there was some of that, but this is a really weird trade. And much like what we talked about with Dalton Connect, Brandon Ingram, now you're going back. If you go back to Toronto, are you wait, you try to trade me for an old Kawhi that can't stay healthy and hasn't really had a ton of success in the playoffs the last half decade, and you were going to trade me, and now what? Am I another a franchise cornerstone? What what is this? So this is going to get real yucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Why can't they make the trade though? Just if Kawhi's going to have to be off the Clippers anyway. They're probably just going to take him off the Clippers. But maybe they just don't want the Clippers getting any rewards for getting rid of Kawhi Leonard. They don't want any benefits from Kawhi Leonard at all.
That's true.
His value coming back.
That would be pretty unprecedented. If the NBA was you can get him over there, but your punishment is you can't get anything in return. That sounds like legal, lawsuits waiting to happen. That just seems even more messier. This whole thing is a weird situation. I don't know.
It's very strange. There's not really a correct answer for this at all. It's just wait and see.
Now, okay, so if Kawhi is on the Raptors, does it move the needle?
I think so. I think it's the perfect addition for them. They needed a one option who was going to close you in games. The only problem is the playmaking. In my opinion, I think
he's what
Brandon Ingram was supposed to be.
Yeah, my question is just is he gonna be there? I know he played in 65 games this year. He was again on that threshold. He had a good season. Obviously, he's done really well. It's just the playoff success hasn't been there. He's kind of fallen off in the playoffs a little bit. Over the last his entire time with the Clippers. They made the one Western Conference Finals, but other than that, there have been moments where he's terrible. He only played in 2 games in the playoffs in 2022, and then again in 2023 only played in 2 games in the playoffs. It's been
he's had injuries and not great teams around him after that. I think it's mostly just been bad luck.
Yeah, and I get that, but availability is that's a skill. And Kawhi hasn't been available in the playoffs multiple times, and it's I don't know, I don't know. I think that the Raptors were a lot of fun this year. Like you said, I think that he fits. He is a guy that's the true number one option, but in the playoffs, I don't know who you're taking. Are you taking the Knicks? Would you take the Raptors over the Knicks? No. Would you take them over the Celtics? Probably not. At this rate, would you take them over the 76ers?
Probably not, because, maybe. It depends.
Would you take them over the Pacers? I know that Tyrese Halliburton, but, the Pacers have been really successful in the playoffs the last 2 years.
It is weird,
that's what I'm saying.
But I think it has a high upside. I think it's better than staying pat with Ingram and what you had before. And, that's a scary defense with Kawhi and Scotty Barnes. You know, talking about defense wins championships. I mean, it could for them. And then, I mean, like the Raptors, it's not like Brandon Ingram was super available last year. I mean, he missed a big chunk of games. And so, like, worst case, I mean, Kawhi's last 2 years have had a pretty good track record availability-wise. But, I mean, worst case, you load manage Kawhi and you run the same Raptors team that made the playoffs last year, and then he comes back and he's fresh for the playoffs, and he closes you out. I mean, the only thing that's kind of weird is the RJ Barrett thing. Where does he fit into this?
Does it change your mind if Kawhi misses half a season? Like if he's suspended for 40 games,
obviously
50 games or something like that. Like you get into March and you're getting your guy back finally. He plays in, 30 games or whatever. Like what does that chemistry look like? Like, and then you just kind of lost a year. You know what I mean? Like that's just a lost year on your books if he is suspended.
Well, that's why they're not signing on yet.
So you got to wait until the league tells them what's the problem is.
But then they're also kind of getting screwed because then we already we're ready to give these assets. These guys thought they were getting traded. We can't just take them back. Like the NBA has to like help them out. I feel like with this, it's not.
Yeah,
fair.
I feel like this is interesting that this came out. Like if the NBA, when this came, because all these trades have to be approved by the NBA, like before they can. I'm sure they have to be approved by the NBA before they're even leaked out. Like this is something that both front offices have to go talk to the league and be like, hey, this is what we're looking at. But so if that was the case, why didn't the NBA say, hey, hold on a second, you can't trade Kawhi yet? Like, this, you're like, why is this after the fact that this was agreed upon and like put out that now the league is saying, hold on?
Yeah, why'd they let the deal go through? And why didn't they just say, Clippers are closed for business with Kawhi Leonard until this is fixed? Like, why don't they? Why did they wait till? Oh, you got a deal? Perfect. Well, you can't do it yet.
What? Like a week and a half later, like this news dropped this week, and that trade was agreed to, before the new league year.
Yeah, I think it's a complete mess by the league on this. This is just not being handled correctly. But in terms of how good the Raptors can be, assuming this deal goes through, I think. At the base level, they're a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. And I think they have a high ceiling that could propel them higher, and especially considering, there's always some circumstances in the playoffs. The Knicks got the cards just aligned, the stars aligned for them this playoffs, and that something like that could happen to the Raptors for sure with Kawhi Leonard and a healthy Raptors squad.
It happened in 2019 for them.
Exactly. And so I think, at their default level is a top 6 team. They're not better than the Celtics. They're not better than the Knicks. They're not better than the Sixers. Heat is kind of up in the air. Cavaliers as well. But I'd say they're in that 6 with those teams. We're just gonna have to see how it looks to really make a judgment. But I think the Raptors are better than they were yesterday. Or before
for sure.
Trade.
They are. They're better for sure.
The last, one of the other big, huge trades of this offseason is Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. Of all teams, I did not see them coming for this. They kind of slipped in there. Yeah. The Celtics gave Jaylen Brown for Paul George 2 firsts and 2 second-round swaps. Very weird. And it's also weird how Jaylen Brown's value all of a sudden just plummeted, and they just shipped him off to their rival. Like, it seemed like a kind of a lazy trade. Like, we don't care what we get for him. We just wanted to get him out of here.
Brad Stevens is a really smart dude. Mm-hmm. I don't think that, I think that this is the best offer that they could have gotten. I think that they threw together a package for Giannis. They chose Miami, and after that, we've seen in the league that analytics, which I know a lot of people have a lot of feelings about analytics, but analytically, the Celtics have still won 90% of their games when Jaylen Brown's not playing. Like, they still play really well when he's on. The on-off numbers, the plus-minus numbers when he's on and off the court, those are higher. Like, I know that he is not a analytically good player. Is he a still really good player? Absolutely. But this goes back to a lot of what we've talked about. What superstar, like, you can't trade a superstar and just get a superstar back. Like, that's not how the NBA works. The only way is if this was Giannis and Jaylen Brown. Like, that is the case. But again, if you're trading a Giannis, why are you getting a Jaylen Brown? Like, what's the timetables are different. So I don't think that there was probably a big market for Jaylen Brown. I don't think that there was a ton of teams calling up the Celtics and being like, I want Jaylen Brown on my team. Like, and that's not necessarily that he's a bad player or anything like that. I just think that the way the league is right now, like, it's really hard to do those things. And people are like, well, we got Paul George back. I understand, but, like, you also have to match salaries when you do this. And so that's why the Milwaukee Bucks got the whole roster of the Miami Heat, is because they had to put together to match salaries. And so, again, there's not a lot of players making $50 million a year on the chopping block and on the trade block. Yeah. There's not that many of them. So, like, it's a lose situation for the Celtics. It really was. Like, I don't think that there was any winning with this. And so they just had to do it. Do I like that it's the Sixers? Not really. But I don't think there was anything else that you could do, including bringing Jaylen Brown back. I think that you had taken that toothpaste out of the tube. There was no getting that back in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he definitely had to go. They were like, I don't think there was a huge urgency to trade him for Giannis. I think it was just like, we'll take Giannis, but we're only going to give this. It was kind of just, It was on their terms. You know, Brad Stevens is not going to fold for anybody. But yeah, I think the Celtics, they didn't like the top heavy contracts. I think it was mostly, they say it wasn't about the money and stuff, but I think it was it was kind of about the money. It was kind of about, they didn't want to be top heavy. They didn't want to pay two guys $50 million, and they wanted to kind of spread the wealth and, you know, just kind of have a classic Celtics basketball team that with multiple weapons. And the team, it's more about the system than the players with them, and they wanted to stick with that. And I think that's why they feel so confident. It's like, we'll take Paul George, he'll fit right into our system, and we don't need Jaylen Brown. And then Jason Tatum can be exactly what Jaylen Brown was for us last year, except better and a playmaker. And so, and plus they got 2 firsts out of it. And so, and the Celtics can draft, man. I mean, Hugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman, they came out of the draft. A lot of really solid role players for them come out of the draft. And so, yeah, I think now that I think about it, I think this is more the right move. But I think they might have been closer to winning with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I mean, they won a championship together. They've had all this success. I just don't understand the urgency outside of money to break them up.
Yes, I understand that, but isn't that the same thing kind of with the Denver Nuggets? Like, you've won a championship with those two, and like at some point, like, it just isn't working, or it's not going to work, or the league changes and you're going to have to change with it. Where now, you know, there was conversations about it being a Jaylen Brown for Jamal Murray trade. Like, that was rumors that was going on earlier in the offseason. At some point, you can't keep doing the same thing. Like, I know you've won one championship and you went to another, and I think that the Celtics that year were still a better team than the Warriors in 22. But I don't know. Like, you can't do the same things over and over again and then be like, all right, well, we're this close. Next year we'll be close again, and next year we'll be close again. It's at a certain point, something's got to give. And I think this year, with the way that Jaylen Brown talked about playing and being like, yeah, this is like my favorite year of playing basketball, and it just happens to be the year that your running mate is hurt for most of the year. That's not good. I think that, Jaylen Brown, there was that report that's like, well, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room and all that stuff. I truly believe that Jaylen Brown is probably the smartest guy in the room that he walks into. Like, that dude is super smart. But that wears off on people.
Most NBA rooms, yeah.
And even like in the GMs, like going and talking with like some of the high brass, like he's on that level. Like he is an extremely smart guy, but that also wears thin on people. Mm-hmm. Like that has an expiration date of being in the same room all the time. So I think the move had to happen. Like you said, I don't think that this is a terrible trade for the Celtics. Like, you do get Paul George, who played pretty well in that series against the Celtics. I mean, didn't do much, but he averaged 17 a game in the playoffs. Like, that's a decent amount. Yeah, like that's a good player. And like you said, like you have him for a year or two, and then you can get that off the books. Like it's anything crazy. I also think that you could trade him still. Like I think that that's still a piece that you could trade. And I also think that this is going to give some of the other Celtics some cool opportunities. Like, can Peyton Pritchard really be the guy? Like, can he kind of have this step up? Because now he's going to have more usage. And so I think that this is good. I actually think that this is going to be more interesting and more intriguing for the 76ers. That's I'm actually more interested on seeing if this works with the 76ers more if I am with the Celtics. Like, I think the Celtics are probably going to be better than the Sixers this year because this is going to be a lot to figure out in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I don't know. I think my initial reaction was this is awesome for Philadelphia and this is terrible for Boston. But I've thought about it a little bit more, and, Paul George will fit into the system. And I have a close friend of mine that's a Celtics fan, and I've been arguing with him the past few days with text threads talking about just like that I think the Sixers are going to be a more successful team than the Celtics because the Celtics kind of don't really have enough, and they're betting on Paul George and Mitchell Robinson to stay healthy and stuff, and Pritchard to take a leap. But he was saying he feels fully confident that the Celtics are gonna be really good and better than last year, and everything's gonna fit flawlessly. And that his argument he's like, sure, like let them miss games as long as they're back for the playoffs, they'll come right in because the Celtics don't, because it's a system. It's not like they don't. Yeah. The chemistry is not like super important. It's just like, do you know the system and can you fit? Like, he'll get his threes up, he'll get into the right spots. And they can just fit flawlessly, and Tatum's going to be amazing and all that, which I think is very optimistic. I think that's like best case scenario. They'll probably win 50 games in the regular season, but I just don't know if this team can get past the second round. And, we're going to have to see a big leap from somebody that wasn't expected.
I'm going to look because my thing with the 76ers are – who is going to be – so last year, Tyrese Maxey averaged 28. Joel Embiid averaged 27. Mm-hmm. VJ Edgecombe, who is young and is going to want a payday, he's trying to fight for some money here. He averaged 16. And then you add Jaylen Brown, who averaged like 29 or whatever game last year he did. Who on that team is okay with averaging 12 points a night? Like, well, how is that going to work out? And I know people are going to be like, well, by default, VJ Edgecombe, he's the young guy. He's okay, but he's trying to fight for a second contract. He's trying to show his worth and that he can be signed. Tyrese Maxey, I know he signed a contract, but he's trying to show that he can be the one. Like, I think that there's going to be a little bit of a Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, whose team is this? Or, I think that this could get a little dicey with the 76ers. And that's my concern for them is like I think that's a really good starting five. I think it's a good team. I think they got better. But this is all about egos and chemistry and things like that. And I think that you're going to have a lot of mouths to feed in this.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Embiid probably won't be playing most of the time. So that's probably, you can probably rule him out of that equation.
But when
I
he does
actually,
play, he's
yeah,
still averaging 29 a game,
that's
27 a
true.
game.
And he's not going to change his game. You saw they all shifted. They immediately shifted from Maxey to Embiid in that Celtics series, which is the main reason the Celtics got so thrown off, is because
Yeah.
now it was all about Embiid.
Well,
Um,
Embiid just like had the best 2 weeks of basketball that he's had in 3 years, and
yeah, there's
since
that
his
as
MVP
well.
season.
Yeah, I actually, I
Crazy.
don't, I like the personalities together. I don't think that like he's a smart, nice guy as well. I just can't see him and Jaylen Brown like fighting over this. I think they'll figure something out.
I just
And
think that a
Jaylen
lot
Brown's
of the times when
probably
this comes
looking,
with money.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're financially screwed, like 100%. They threw a Hail Mary, like this is the final. We're
Yeah.
throwing everything we have into this. Like they're in the deep end now. They can't see the harbor.
Nope.
Like,
They're there.
They are fully like committed to paying for this championship. But I actually
let's see if
think,
they can.
yeah, I mean, I think a huge win for them with this is, and I immediately thought of this when I saw the trade, is that now it's like Embiid doesn't matter. This is awesome. Like he can go ahead and miss games, have appendicitis, whatever comes up, and we have Jaylen Brown and Maxey, and Edgecombe who could get better and take a leap, like, and Embiid's just like a +1 bonus, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think that
That
I
is
think
actually
they're
that is
way better
true
than
because
they were
Edgecombe's
last
going to play. Edgecombe's going to play. Brown's going to play. Maxey's going to play. Like even in the regular season. So like you're definitely right about that. Like it is a nice to have with Joel Embiid. Like he can miss time and they can still win games and maybe be a top 3 seed. Like so.
Yeah.
That is true.
But yeah, but what you said, the only problem really is the fit. Like this is kind of clunky. It's stacking superstars that don't really look good together on paper. Like who's going to take the last shot? Who's going to take the most shots?
And Jaylen Brown is a guy that's going to dribble the ball. Like he is most effective one-on-one. Like he's never done a ton of off-ball like moving. That's been Jason Tatum's thing. Like Tatum's been kind of more the off-ball movement guy. Like yes, he ISOs and he does the pick and roll, but like Jaylen Brown is a dribble the ball, like trying to get to his spot. So yeah, what does this look like in terms of the fit with all these guys?
Maybe he goes back to a smaller role, makes some big shots when needed, and then just guards the best player on the other team. But it's hard to believe after having a breakout season like
exactly
that he would want to do that. But yeah, my prediction right now is they're probably gonna have a good regular season. Embiid's probably not gonna play most of the time, and Brown is gonna look like pretty much like last year, and him and Maxey are just gonna go off every night.
Yeah.
But then in the playoffs, they're not going to be able to figure out adding Embiid, and they're going to fall apart somehow.
That's
if
good.
I had to guess.
That's a good prediction for real.
But I think their upside is higher than the Celtics for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of stars. I mean, that's the thing. Now, if you're talking, we just talked about like what does 3 years down the line look like? Mm-hmm. What is the Celtics whole thing was like we want flexibility. We want to be able to make moves and not be tied to the books and definitely not be over that second apron. And so that's kind of where this comes in. It's like what do they look like in 3 years from now? And I know that the 76ers aren't thinking about that, and the 76ers fans aren't thinking about that necessarily. They're like, can we win a championship next year? Maybe. And like that's what I don't care what 3 years looks like if we can win a championship this year. So, it's just teams in different spots. They're just in different spots in their franchise right now.
I don't think either team is a championship team. The Celtics probably have an edge just because of the organization, the coaching, the fact that Brad Stevens always does something with intention. And another kind of red flag for that Sixers team is how happily Brad Stevens gave Jaylen Brown to them. Like, we're not worried about you at all. You can with or without Jaylen Brown. So it kind of seems like the movie The Departed.
Yeah.
I watched that recently. It kind of feels like the Sixers sent Paul George to destroy the Celtics, and the Celtics sent Jaylen Brown to go destroy the Sixers.
Destroy the 76ers.
Like,
That's funny.
they're not worried about him, and the Sixers are probably glad to get off Paul George.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
But I think Celtics probably have the best chances of figuring something out. I know we're running low on time, but I want to briefly talk about John Morant to the Blazers real fast. So Blazers get John Morant, Grizzlies get Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. Obviously, Blazers are the only team who would take him. So
I don't know what the Blazers are ever doing right now. They got that the owner that's apparently cheaping out on on playoff shirts, and like it's just I don't know what they're doing. Like this doesn't make really any sense to me. I don't think this moves the needle any. Like
No.
This just seems like they were like, you know what, let's just take a flyer on the guy. He'll put butts in seats maybe in Portland. Like when he does play, like maybe he can get the high flying John Morant that he was. Maybe he'll put some butts in seats. That kind of seems like what this is. It's like, come watch John Morant try to dunk on somebody. Like that, I guess, because this team's, I know they've been better, but the whole Chauncey Billups thing, there's a lot going on, and I don't know. I think that for the Grizzlies, it's like this is a fresh start. You can hit reset on everything. Now you can kind of build around Boozer and see what happens. So for the Grizzlies, and honestly, I think Grizzly fans are probably okay with this as well. Like they were tired of the sideshow that was John Morant.
Definitely.
So I think this is, again, good for Memphis. Doesn't like I literally have no opinion on it for the Blazers because I don't think that it matters at all. Like I don't think it matters at all.
I think it was just kind of like a why not trade. Like they gave next to nothing for him. Got off of Jeremy Grant's contract, but now of course you have John Morant's lengthy contract. So don't really understand the benefits from that. But like, I don't know if someone basically just gave you John Morant for free and you're a team like the Blazers, it doesn't really have much to lose. Why not? They need a playmaker. Maybe you can kind of get him to buy into that playmaking role. He'll come in and just drive hard to the paint and kick out and get guys open. Dame can play off the ball, off screens, and just shoot the heck out of the ball. And then Avdia can keep doing his thing. So, I think it's kind of just like, why not? We got him for free. Like best case, we're better. Worst case, we just get rid of him, send him home, waive him. We didn't give anything for him, so like, So I don't think they don't have any pressure to have him work out or not because they gave nothing for him.
Yeah,
and
I mean nobody wanted him.
Yeah, but it probably creates more problems than solutions because now you have a bunch of guards. You have Drew Holiday, Scoot Henderson, and Dame and Ja, and so like they're clearly just like done developing Scoot and are fine with him as a six man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm getting from this, and yeah, Drew Holiday. I think he's just only on for defense now.
Yeah, and Drew Holiday's got to be like, can I like go back to Boston, please? Like, can I get out of this?
I think he just wants to stay put. I think he's just tired of being traded. He wants to have.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is, but like
for 4 years.
I'm sure, but like you got to be. Man, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Before we go, I just want to talk about the Hornets side of the Timberwolves trade, and then just who are the real contenders.
Yeah.
Real quick. So. Yeah, let's just put the exclamation point on the LaMelo to the Wolves thing. Last thoughts on that, really, for both sides. You can go first.
Yeah, I was in. I don't really quite understand it with the Hornets. Sometimes I think that like leagues like you, I know that you want to be competitive and stuff, but you also want to be relevant. And I think that with LaMelo and Concanipo, like they were a fun team this year. Like that was a fun team to watch, and they were interesting, and like they were in the NBA zeitgeist. Like we were talking about the Hornets for the first time, I feel like in years, and so it doesn't quite make sense to be like, all right, LaMelo, peace out. Like we're out of here. We're not in the LaMelo business anymore.
Yeah.
And does this? I mean, I guess now this is Con Knippel's team. Like what does this look like? He's a really good player, but what is he a franchise like cornerstone that you're just gonna like? This is our guy. I guess so.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like LaMelo was, but when you have two guys that are really interesting, that's fun. Like that's a really fun team. When you have just one, it's like okay, what are you gonna look like? So, I don't know how this. I mean, I know you're closer to Charlotte. Like I don't know how this feels to Charlotte fans because like you were fun. LaMelo's an interesting guy. Like he seemed like he liked Charlotte and all this stuff. So like, why? But I don't know. Like, is this just the Hornets doing old Hornets things?
Yeah. I haven't really seen the friend of mine who's a Hornets fan post anything. So I think they're kind of just indifferent about it. They're kind of just like I don't think they really care that they got rid of LaMelo. I think they're just kind of just like end of an era. We'll see what happens. I think they're just happy about Con and have hope for Brandon Miller. I'm actually really happy with the Hornets. I think getting Naz Reid was great for them. Naz Reid looked like he wanted somewhere to kind of do more, and take more shots and have a bigger role. And he definitely got that. And now they're betting on Kobe White to be their starting point guard, which is kind of interesting to me. He had that play-in game. I don't know if you saw.
He played well.
Told me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he definitely. I didn't think he was terrible when he was with the Bulls. Like I didn't watch a ton of Bulls games, but I have a buddy of mine that is a Bulls fan, and so I kind of keep up. I didn't think that he was awful. Like I mean, he's serviceable, for sure.
Yeah. He's rosterable. He had some stagnant years though, but I don't know. The Bulls are a mess.
Yeah.
But I really like the Hornets. Ever since this new leadership, they drafted Con, they got Brandon Miller, which I mean, both of them kind of have to prove their value.
Yeah, this has got to be a couple of years.
But I think this team has a nice upside for sure if they can stay healthy and stay on course. Con Knippel I was really high on him before the play-in until he had a terrible performance. But I mean, he's only 20. He can get past that. He's really just Klay Thompson with a bag, really.
Yeah.
Like he has that catch and shoot side of him, where he can get hot and kind of just add spacing to a team, but then he can also create shots. And I think his ceiling could be a star player who's a number 1 option, number 2 option on creating shots for himself and hitting clutch shots. I don't really have a player comparison for him. He's kind of one of one.
Yeah.
And Brandon Miller can also be a great scorer if he can just play enough. And
yeah, he is. Brandon Miller's. He's a fun watch.
Yeah, but I think the Hornets are going to be a fun team. I'll call them fun right now. I actually have a secret sweet spot for the Hornets.
Hey, being a fun team is better than being a disaster team.
Yeah. I got love for the Hornets. I went to summer camp in North Carolina. It's not too far from Georgia. I'm always happy if the Hornets are good, but
yeah.
And if they're bad, of course, I won't say anything. But yeah, any last thoughts on the Timberwolves side of this?
No, this is, like I said, that's my most intriguing team going into the year. Like I just what's that going to look like? Like I think there's a lot.
It's gonna be a roller coaster ride.
It's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Whether it might be watching a car crash, but it'll be we'll be watching.
And he just went to worse weather to drive in.
Yeah, I know. Oh, come
Minnesota.
on.
Yeah, I think him and Ant is gonna be. Oh my God, I would not want to be Chris Finch. I do not want to coach them at all. I mean, LaMelo's just so unserious. He's the last thing Anthony Edwards needs, who's also kind of unserious at times.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's not my problem. It'll just
Nope.
be more things to look forward to from fan perspective. But yeah, I think the Hornets did a great job getting rid of bad influences this offseason. They got rid of Miles Bridges. They got rid of LaMelo.
Yeah.
Now the young guys are safe now.
Cleaning house.
That's pretty funny, yeah. Real quick before we go, who are the real contenders? Who are you saying has in each conference the select teams you're putting like? Don't rule them out for the ring.
Okay, the West. You got obviously San Antonio, Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And I guess you can throw Denver in there.
Mm-hmm.
If Jokic is hot, that's a scary team. But I think that's kind of it to come out of the West. Like I don't think that anybody's going to be coming over the Spurs or the Thunder. It's one of those two. And then in the East is where it gets really interesting because obviously the Knicks. I think the Celtics can still get there. Their team's going to look different, but I do think that they can get there. The whatever's been in Indiana, where they've just been like a side and just a thorn in everyone's side in the playoffs. You got to the got to the NBA Finals, have been to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like they're just if Tyrese Halliburton's back, that could be interesting.
I like Pacers. I think they'll be good.
Yeah, if Cleveland. If LeBron goes there. If LeBron doesn't, I don't know if there's a serious contender. I mean, I think that they're good. I wouldn't have given Donovan Mitchell that much money. But if LeBron goes there, I think that could be interesting. And I think 76ers, I guess. Yeah, like the 76ers could potentially be in that conversations for an Eastern Conference Finals. So that's a handful, 5-6 teams there that I think could be.
If you had to bet on anybody, bet your life on anybody in the East, do you have any answer for that?
I would no, because like we're just in the NBA parity moment. Like there haven't even been the 2 years in a row that the conference champion has been the same. Like we're just in such a unique part of NBA history that I honestly I don't know. Like I would say the Knicks, but again, Mitchell Robinson's a big piece of that. And like I know that he had his moments in the finals, but like that's a big piece that is gone. Obviously the Celtics, like you don't know. I don't want again, if LeBron goes to Cleveland, I think that they could be really interesting. But I have no clue. Now, in the West, I think it's going to be Oklahoma City. But I feel like I'm confident in saying that I think OKC's there.
Well, they're going to have to get rid of Dort because they re-signed Hartenstein, who I also thought they were going to get rid of him, but they didn't. And they're running into financial trouble.
They are, and they're going to. I mean, that's going to be another thing in a couple of years. Like that team's not going to be what it is. But I like Lou Dort. He hits like I feel like every time Lou Dort needs to hit a big shot, he does. And obviously like defense, but I think you can live without that. Like I don't, I think they could be all right without him. So that's who I got. Those are my contenders, I guess. I know that's a cop-out answer, but like I just in the East, there's so many, and like this parity era of the NBA, like just you never know.
The East is so competitive, and like every team has some kind of question mark. It's truly amazing. I haven't been this torn about a conference favorite in a very long time. There's really no answer you can say that is a real contender in the East. But if I had to, I'd probably. I mean, I guess I have no choice but to just run with the defending champs, Knicks, and hope that assume Drummond can get enough offensive boards to mimic Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
And and then the Sixers, of course, I have to throw them in, but only if they figure it out and they're healthy. They probably can't win the title without Embiid and being there. But I don't know. The odds of them figuring that out is is hard. And then it's even like less odds that they'll be healthy to even figure it out. So, yeah, I'll just throw Sixers in there on like the 5% chance they have of actually
getting there.
being able to do that. Yeah. Yeah, everyone else I think is going to run into a wall at some point.
For sure.
We'll see what happens though, where LeBron goes. I'm not scared of Cleveland with or without LeBron. I don't like them at all. I just don't like the idea of having James Harden and LeBron be your top 3 players. And then I'm not super high on Donovan Mitchell either, who they just paid a ton of money for.
Yeah.
So we'll see. With the West, it's obviously San Antonio and OKC. And then if you want to throw in the Nuggets too, I probably can't throw them in right now until I see a move made by them because you can't run it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the Thunder just keep getting better. AJ Mitchell could be the next Jalen Brunson now, but they're also gonna have to pay him in a couple of years.
Yeah,
So,
that they're gonna have to do something because they can't keep this up. They got too many good players and too many of them are getting paid.
yeah, and they just drafted Mara too, who could be a good weapon against Wemby if he pans out correctly.
Yeah.
They drafted the Wemby stopper, is what I keep saying.
Yeah, I don't know why the league let that happen.
I don't know, but he's got it. I don't know. Mara could end up not working.
Sure.
We'll see. He doesn't look like he's strong enough, really, or is consistent.
I don't know if you have to be that strong to go up against Wemby, though.
True. He could be just a good contest, just somebody in the way.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and I think the Spurs will just keep getting better, obviously. But they're gonna have to figure out the whole Fox thing. You know, you could arguably say that Dylan Harper should be starting now, and they should get rid of Fox, but Fox wasn't healthy. Dylan Harper is eventually gonna have outgrow a 6-man. Like he's really talented. I really love Dylan Harper.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
all that. But yeah, well, I appreciate you for coming on. It was fun talking with you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, hope everyone's enjoying the off season. We'll be back here for wherever LeBron goes. That whole thing. But yeah, thank you, Logan, for coming on. It's been a great episode.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate it.